Alright, here is the element. I'm assuming you guys know how to take the side of your machine. Otherwise, there's other videos I've done. Shows you how to take the side cover off. So, obviously you've got to turn off the main power. These two leads are connected, one to each bank, or each side. So we disconnect those. And just for testing purposes, you only need to take off one lot of connectors. If you don't take them off, you won't know which one is faulty, or if any of them are faulty, unless you know the exact reading you're supposed to have. So using a multimeter, this one here, I've got it connected to sound so we can see when it conducts, it'll make a sound. So if I press here, it'll make sound. So we want, obviously we don't want an open circuit, it has to be closed. So that one, top one connects, the bottom one, sorry, the middle one, nothing, and the bottom one, nothing. So this machine's just running on top element only. Now there's a couple of reasons why elements burn out. This one, I'll say, hopefully it's just with time. But otherwise, if there's a water level issue, the first element to burn out would be the top one, because that would be the one sticking out of the water if the water level was dropping too low. If the water level is dropping too low, it could be the water level sensor inside that is sticking down, probably too far down, or it could be an issue with the computer board. But on this one, I don't think that's the problem, because it's the bottom elements which are going to be submerged before the top element, and it's the bottom elements that are burned out. So I'm comfortable changing the elements without checking the water level. Like I've already looked at the water level, and the water level is fine. Water level we can see here. I've just emptied that, so that's draining out. I've got a little tap here on this machine that we can turn to let the water out. Otherwise, what you need to do, if you don't have a tap, is you actually need to put a brick upright or a piece of wood and tilt the machine. Otherwise water's just going to obviously come out, but I've managed to empty most of the water. So let's change the element. Okay, here's the old element. Sometimes you can see burns on it, but this one doesn't really show that it's burned out. Alright, so what we need to do before we put the next element in, we need to clean around here. There's a little groove, and I want to get a pick or something pointy and just clean in there. You can do it with a really pointy screwdriver. Just want to make sure there's no crap sitting there. Okay, it's a bit concerning how clean this is, because perhaps that element's burned out quite quickly. I'm just cleaning in that groove, making sure there's nothing stuck there. Alright, so the element on this machine goes in dipping down. Do not put it in this way. You probably can't even put it in that way. It will hit the heat exchange inside. So it should be straightforward to get it in. And with these kind of gaskets, they're going away from the fiber ones. And these gaskets, they have to be extremely tight and they have to be sitting level. They have a tendency to fall down. Yeah, so these silicone gaskets, when you put them in, they can fall down. So you have to make sure they sit in that groove, not falling down while you're putting them in. Otherwise they will leak. So we're gonna just tighten it up now, and that's obviously straightforward. I'm gonna tighten it up and I'm gonna connect the power to the bottom, and then I'll just go and explain the last bits. Alright, so these really need to be tight. And what I recommend is you tighten it, you let it fill up with water, you let it heat up, and then you tighten them again. Okay, so I've connected one bank and I've connected this overtemp. It actually just sits in there. You want to make sure that's right in. Before I'm finished, I'm going to push it even further in. And that overtemp is, like I said, if it gets too hot, it will switch the power off. And that's a reset for the overtemp, in case you need to know. So now, before I go any further and connect the second wire, I'll actually turn the machine on and let it fill up, because I don't want the element to turn on while there's no water in the machine. And on this machine, unfortunately, doesn't have the rotary switch. It only has, I'll show you guys, it only has a manual on off. So we can only flick that switch there on off. Doesn't have the old-fashioned rotary one. So let's turn the water on first. Okay, so I've switched the water off so it won't drain water from the tank. That's now closed, and now we're going to turn the machine on with the element off, and we want it to fill up to halfway. And there's the noise of the pump filling, and so we're going to keep going until we're halfway up on the boiler. See the pump pushing the water in. Okay, so you can see the water level starting to rise. Now soon the machine will probably go, an issue with the filling, and all the lights will start flashing. And that's quite normal. That's just the computer telling us that it's taking too long to refill the boiler. Okay, here we go. Filling up, timeout, everything's flashing. This is all normal. This is supposed to be while you're using the machine and you use hot water, the time to refill shouldn't be more than a couple of minutes. But because we're filling the boiler from scratch, it's obviously going to take longer. So that's quite normal, don't freak out. All we do is we turn it off, back on, and it'll start filling. And this time we should get to halfway. Alright, the machine's nearly full. I've connected the other element, the other wire to the element, and I've pushed the overtemp further in. So now, alright, we're full. Water levels, yeah, and machine's heating up. Now after the machine's hot, I will tighten them even more, because once it heats up, it will soften that seal, and that will be a good chance to just nip it up, because otherwise you will find that it will probably start dripping. Alright, now you know how to install and test an element. Alright, if you enjoyed that and want to see other repair videos or coffee related stuff, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to look up Spina espresso and order some coffee online. Thanks, guys.